Hi everybody, welcome to my home chemistry lab here. Today we're going to explore our same topic of physical and chemical properties to identify 4 mystery liquids. You can see that we have 4 clear liquids here. I showed you these in the slideshow before, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they look pretty much the same. So we're going to use 4 properties to try and determine what these are. Let's start simple. We'll start with odor. So you're in your table here on C10, and I'm going to have you fill in your table while I collect the data. So I'll tell you what to write down. So we'll actually jump down to that second row in odor. For liquid 1, it's going to be a yes or a no. In the chemistry lab, we don't just stick our nose in something and breathe in, we waft. So liquid 1, no odor. So write that down. Liquid 2, ooh, odor, yes. Write that. Number 3, yes, odor. You're gonna have to believe me. Number 4, no odor, okay? Let's move on to melting point. So I've had our 4 liquids in my freezer overnight. These are the same 4 liquids, and I took them out of the freezer a few minutes ago. So number 1 has just started melting. So I'm going to take its melting point. So I made a point to set these up just before I started filming. Okay, so I'm taking the temperature, and the melting point of number 1 is 0 degrees Celsius. So write that in, and melting point for number 1. Moving on to number 2, it's still warming up, but the melting point of number 2 is 15 degrees Celsius. 3 is interesting. It actually didn't melt overnight. It didn't melt at all overnight. But if it were to have reached freezing and then gotten to its melting point, that would have happened at negative 20 degrees Celsius, okay? Negative 20 degrees Celsius is number 3. Number 4 is also just starting to melt. It didn't quite freeze overnight, and its melting point is also 0 degrees Celsius, okay? Let's do a fun one. Let's do flammability. Let's see which of these will burn. So I'm gonna dip this paper strip into each of the liquids, the mystery liquids, and see if they burn or not. Don't try this at home, please. Liquid number 1. Liquid number 1 here, is it flammable? Liquid number 1, no. Here we are. Liquid number 2, little soak. What would you say? No. Okay, moving right along. Liquid number 3. Oh, yeah. Woo. Woo. Yes, liquid number 3, definitely flammable. Okay, and liquid number 4. Okay, nothing like number 3, but let's say yes, slightly flammable. All right, fun in the chemistry lab. I'm so sorry that we had to miss this lab altogether. All right, last but not least, we'll move on to the top row, solubility. So for this one, I'm actually going to take three other substances, sugar, salt, and oil, and I'm I'm gonna mix just about 5 milligrams. It's just about a teaspoon. Really, I'm just gonna use my kitchen spoons. So I'm gonna do just a little bit of each of these substances and see if it dissolves. So see if these substances are soluble in each of our mystery liquids. Okay. So we're looking at, it's a little bit of an estimate of the amount. 5 milligrams is what I know this to be. Okay. So sugar in liquid 1 is soluble. Salt, I have another sample in liquid 1. Is soluble. Oil now, same amount, in liquid 1, not soluble. So you're writing down all of this data. Okay, moving on to liquid 2. Moving on to liquid 2, starting with the sugar in liquid 2. It's mixing all up throughout. It is soluble. The salt. Salt, soluble. Okay. And the oil. Oil in mystery liquid number 2 is a no. I'll show you what that looks like. So that's not soluble. Okay. Right, moving right along. Here we are. You're doing great. Thanks for sticking with me, everybody. Here we are. Liquid number 3 now. Okay. The sugar. Yes. Sugar dissolves. The salt. Salt, no. Okay. What about the oil? Whoa, the oil dissolves in liquid 3, okay? It looks pretty different. Oil dissolves in liquid 3. So write that down in your data table. Okay. And last but not least, this is our last property test. With all of this data, when you have your data table complete, you're going to open up the liquids reference page that I have attached to the assignment, and you are going to figure out the identity of each of the liquids. So let's see number 4. Dissolve sugar. Okay. Dissolve salt. Okay. Last one. And number 4 with the oil, is oil soluble in this mystery liquid? That is a no. No for that one. Okay, so we've looked at 4 different properties for 4 mystery liquids. At first glance, they look identical. So now your job, like I said, is to go into that liquids reference page in the Google Classroom and to fill out the last column, the identity of the liquid. I want you to write the common name and the chemical formula. All right, thanks everybody. See ya.